Michigan State basketball, they add another player out of the portal in Divine Ugochukwu, and all we can say is, in Tom Izzo, we trust.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning into this little bonus episode here of Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below your thoughts on the Divine Ugochukwu pickup for Michigan State basketball. And before going any further, hey guys, thanks a lot for making us your first listen of the day. This is an interesting pickup here for Michigan State basketball with adding Divine Ugochukwu, who played last year at Miami, not sparingly like it was going to be as he entered his freshman season at Miami. Now, depending on who you read, who you listen to, there's conflicting reports, but the word is that he was going to redshirt his freshman season at Miami. That was the plan going in. Former three-star out of Sugar Land, Texas, just let the college game unfold before his eyes, and then Miami season kind of got interesting right off the bat with some injuries. So he played in 28 games, 16 starts as a true freshman, 20 minutes per game for the 6'3" former three-star guard. Now, in those 28 games, 5.3 points per game, 2 assists per game, and of course, you can figure it out by now. He enters the transfer portal. Michigan State, not only were they after him, now you probably know this, he commits to Michigan State, and the Spartans weren't the only Power 5 program after him. The Spartans beat out Texas Tech, who was long thought of as the leader for his services, and also Big Ten, traditional Big Ten foe, USC, was also hot after him too, but Tom Izzo gets his guy. He gets what appears to be the backup to Jeremy Fears, something that Michigan State desperately needed in this portal cycle. So let's get into what Tom Izzo probably likes about this kid right here. Now, we've already said it 2 or 3 times, but yes, 6'3" guard, certainly not undersized at that position. And this guy is an athlete, okay? He's got the range. He's got the defense on his side. And, well, to go along with that athleticism, he plays above the rim. I mean, that's not to say that he's like Cohen Carr and he's just going to be banging and breaking backboards left and right, but for a point guard in college hoops, certainly a little more bounce than you usually see there. Now, he does turn that into 63% finishing at the rim, which is right on par with where you want to be, if not a tick higher, especially as a true freshman playing in Power 5 basketball than he was last season. So, solid finisher on the rim. Probably a two-way player, and of course, Tom Izzo likes that. You don't play for Michigan State unless you play some modicum of defense, and it looks like this guy can be a plus defender, especially with how young he is. Now, if you want some extra moxie, he also wore 99 for Miami last year. I don't know how many basketball players I've seen wear the number 99, but yeah, when we're breaking this kid down, we're going to use everything from the box score to what we see in the film to his number choices here. So this is where it gets into like, in Tom, we trust territory here, and not to, poo-poo the kid or say like, oh, this guy's going to be a bust here, but it is interesting that they brought in a kid with this kind of a blemish here. And before, we rattle it off and start talking about his shooting, what this means to the lineup, I will say that whenever we talked about searching for a backup guard, especially when Divine Ugochukwu visited campus not too long ago here, we always said and realized that, look, Michigan State, when they bring on this guard, that is, of course, going to be in this backup role. There's going to be some blemish to his game. Very hard to go out, sell the kids, hey, you're going to play behind Jeremy Fears, come be a backup here. It's hard to get like a 10 out of 10 player here. Someone that's just so excited to get here and be a backup. No, you're going to sacrifice something with whoever you got out of the portal. This was always going to be who it was for Michigan State. They were going to go out, drop a bag, get someone that was even going to play above Jeremy Fears. I mean, this staff and this pickup kind of solidifies this. They are confident in Jeremy Fears. They needed someone, and of course, that was going to come with a wart. And the wart to this game, to Divine Ugochukwu's game, is the shooting, right? He is 17% from three-point land as a true freshman. And of course, that can go up. But man, can it go up enough to actually matter, to actually space the floor ever? Because, guys, you've lost Jace Richardson. Jaden Akins, Trey Holloman, Frankie Fiddler, Xavier Booker. Those are your top 5 3-point attempts guys last season. And I know the story last year is that a lot of those attempts didn't go down. Now, Jace Richardson was the outlier. He shot it really good last year, of course. But Jaden Akins, yes, he only shot at, 30-ish%. Same Trey Holloman, too. Even, Xavier Booker didn't shoot it great. But at least they were threats. At least they were known to be able to shoot a 3. At least they could space a floor for you. Whereas when Divine's on the court, you remember when Michigan State played North Carolina in the tournament not too long ago, and Eli Cadeau, whenever he was at three-point land, Tom Izzo basically had every defender run out of bounds. That's how much space and disrespect they gave his shot. That could be what's going to be on deck here coming up whenever Divine Ugochukwu has the ball here. So it is interesting, especially coming off of a year where the three-point shooting was just not there, and also losing this many players that can actually space a floor with being a three-point threat. But again, I'm just the podcaster. I'm just the observer from the outside. You got to trust Tom Izzo here, and who are we to not do that, especially after winning the Big Ten by 3 games last season. But that is interesting. I thought maybe that they would go down and, get perhaps an undersized guy or someone from a real low major school that actually, at least shot the ball well. Because right now, if it doesn't work out with Divine, and let's say Trey Fort from Samford, solid enough shooter, let's say it doesn't translate immediately to Big Ten basketball. Let's say Kerr Tang, who didn't really get a lot of minutes last year, and understandably so. There's a little bit of a logjam there. But let's say it's a slow start to him for having a serious role on this team too. Let's say Caleb Glenn, hey, fine three-point shooter, somewhere around 40%, but his free throw shooting not that good. Let's say he has a regression with this three-point shooting. I'm not trying to pull every fire alarm. I'm not trying to overly panic, but there is a world where, like, Michigan State, in a year where they really did not shoot the three-point ball all that well last year, that it could be like, I'm not saying another season in the 300s, but another season where it's not going to be a strong suit for this team. So, interesting pickup here. And Tom Izzo, we trust, of course. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Divine here in a hot segment. First, guys, need to talk your ears off about Monarch Money. That's right. You guys ever check your bank account and wonder, Lordy, where did all my money go? Goodness. Well, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in, guys. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Now, Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building your wealth. Guys, when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery, and now I'm budgeting a lot smarter and saving a lot more money. And doing it with a partner, guys, is so easy. You can manage your money smoother than ever, track shared and personal accounts, set goals, stay on the same page without all of that stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Now, let's get more into it, guys, because, 17% from 3, that is quite the low number. And this is why maybe I don't necessarily think it's just going to turn around just like that. It's because his free throw shooting wasn't great shakes either at Miami. And he also didn't really get to the free throw line a lot. Just 1.6 attempts per game, even for as downhill of a player as he is. But when he got to the free throw line, 63%. So there's going to be some work that has to be done here with his shooting to make this all work. But again, there was always going to be a blemish with whatever point guard's game. And while we did just mention that, hey, they lost this much three-point shooting, or at least three-point threats in theory, you know what? Maybe you're looking at a 6'3" guy, a guy that can defend the wing, guard positions, something that was a backbone for Michigan State last year. One of the best, if not the best, three-point defense, not just in the conference, but in the country. Maybe you're also looking at, okay, I just lost Jace Richardson, plus defender. Just lost Jaden Akins, certainly a plus defender. I just lost Trey Holloman, solid defender, I would say. We also need guard defense. So maybe, hey, it's guys like me that are just getting a little too caught up in the shooting numbers, which excuse us for doing so after a not-so-great season from behind the arc last year. But the benefit is that there was also a hole left with this defense. So to turn this all around, and on a high note here when we're talking about this kid and who he is, solid defender. That's the hole that Tom Izzo has chosen to plug. So that is what it's going to look like here with Divine Ugochukwu. Now, this is probably, I would imagine, the last guy they add, although there is one more spot. We will see if they do want to go ahead and add another guy. I know that they were out in Israel not too long ago, scouting Noam Yaakov. Solid player in the European League over there. So we'll see if there's any smoke billowing out of those towers by any chance. That would be another point guard to add him into the mix. I think that you could absolutely share that role with Fears, Yaakov, and Ugochukwu. Ugochukwu maybe also playing the 2 position if it comes to that. But yeah, right now, let's just say that this is the last pickup for Michigan State. Okay. I mean, again, this does scream that they do have faith in Jeremy Fears, as if there was any doubt around that. But Fears definitely had a strong end to his year last year, his redshirt freshman season, technically. So I, for one, am a Fears guy. I don't think that they needed to go out and get someone to really push him for starters minutes, but yeah, that's where we're at right now. So how is it going to divvy up with the backcourt as far as minutes go? Is it a world with Jeremy Fears playing 28 minutes to start the year and then Divine eating up the other 12 minutes perhaps? And then at the 2, you got Trey 4 eating up 25 minutes, Kurtang 12 minutes. And then Divine, you know what? You want to bring him up to 15 minutes. You let him play 3 minutes at the 2. Absolutely a world where that's going to happen. So that's where it is right now. I do like, again, Michigan State's offseason. I think this is a fascinating pickup for Michigan State. And, hey, trust in Tom Izzo, because if you're not going to do that after this Big Ten winning season, then what are you going to do? So there we go, guys. That's the skinny on one Divine Ugochukwu. Thanks a lot for listening to this bonus episode. Guys, we will be back on Monday morning with the podcast and Sunday night on YouTube if you want a head start with our guy Chase Glasser of Spartans Illustrated. We break down all things Aiden Childs. He went back, watched pretty much every single game of Aiden last year, picked apart things that he loved about him, maybe some concerns. But, guys, listen to that episode coming up here in a hot minute. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday or your Monday whenever you're listening to this. Thanks a lot for making us your first listen every single day on the Locked On Podcast Network. Love you all. Go Green.